भारत को प्रभुत्व संपन्न, समाजवादी, पंथ निरपेक्ष, लोकतंत्रात्मक गणराज्य बनाने के लिए तथा उसके समस्त नागरिकों को सामाजिक, आर्थिक और राजनीतिक न्याय, विचार, अभिव्यक्ति, विश्वास, धर्म और उपासना की स्वतंत्रता, प्रतिष्ठा और अवसर की समता प्राप्त कराने के लिए तथा उन सब में व्यक्ति की गरिमा और राष्ट्र की एकता और अखंडता सुनिश्चित करने वाली बंधुता बढ़ाने के लिए दृढ़ संकल्प होकर अपनी इस संविधान सभा में आज तारीख 26 नवंबर को एतद द्वारा इस संविधान को अंगीकृत, अधिनियमित और आत्मार्पित करते हैं। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Constitution Day, I would like to invite Besh of Class 6B for her speech.
To all, I'm very excited to get a chance to share a few words on the importance of National Constitution Day in our country. National Constitution Day is celebrated every year on 26th of November to honor the adaptation of our Constitution in India. It is also known as Samvidhāna Divasa or National Law Day. It is also celebrated to pay tribute to Dr. PM Ambedkar, who was the first Law Minister of India. He is also known as the father of Indian Constitution. Constitution Day is celebrated in schools and colleges every year to spread the awareness of Constitution in our daily lives. The Constituent Assembly consisted of the elected representatives from various fields. Some of the prominent members were Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Jawaharlal Nehru, B.N. Rao, and also Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Dr. Ambedkar was appointed as the chairman of the drafting committee. We celebrate the Constitution Day to remember their outstanding efforts for the nation and also the Constitution. The Constitution is a foundation of the democracy of a country, and India's Constitution is carrying a remarkable history. And yes, it is one of the biggest constitutions in the world, as the creator of it took essence from American, British, and Japanese Constitution. Yes, the Indian Constitution is an amalgamation of the best of the Constitution in the world. You might be knowing also that there are 6 fundamental rights that our Constitution offers and guarantees. Right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to education, right to constitutional remedies, and right to freedom to religion. The Constituent Assembly met for 166 days before the Constitution was adopted, when the draft was prepared and put into debate and discussions. Over 2,000 amendments were made before it was finalized. The Constitution of India declares it as a sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic republic. It aims at securing justice, liberty, equality to all its citizens, and promote fraternity in order to get unity and integrity in its nation. So at last, I would like to say that the Constitution is not just a mere lawyer's document. It is a vehicle of life, and its spirit is the spirit of age. The Constitution of India is the heartbeats of every Indian. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Shreya are going to represent a short conversation regarding right to education. Why don't you send your daughter to school?
I don't think it's necessary to go to school, and even I have no money to send my daughter to school.
It is necessary. School is the place where she will gain education which is absolutely needed.
So how can you say that? Education is a need and is important.
Education is important for overall development of a nation. Without education, we cannot go ahead.
Can you sow any ground?
Actually, education widens our outer look and orientation. It broadens our mind and mentality.
But it is not compulsory.
It is the right of children to free and compulsory education, RTE Act 2009, which represents the constitutional legislation under Article 21A, means that every child has a right to full-time elementary education of satisfactory and equitable quality in a formal school which satisfies certain essential norms and standards. Article 21A and the RTE Act came into effect on 1st April 2010. Under this, the students are exempted from school fees and other expenses. In fact, the students will be facilitated with uniforms, textbooks, and other elements that do not cause hindrance in schooling. Hence, the Act prohibits any kind of capitalization fees in any circumstances for any students at all. Thank you and have a nice day.
There is a quiz which is presented by me of Sneha Anand of class 12th A. बैठक कब हुई थी? मैं इस प्रश्न को दोहराती हूँ, संविधान सभा की पहली बैठक कब हुई थी? माफ करिएगा, सही उत्तर है 9 दिसंबर 1946 को। मेरा दूसरा प्रश्न है, भारतीय संविधान का पहला संशोधन किस वर्ष हुआ? संशोधन किस वर्ष हुआ? माफ करिएगा, सही उत्तर है 1951। मेरा तीसरा प्रश्न है, कौन से अनुच्छेद के अंतर्गत हिंदी भाषा को राजकीय भाषा घोषित किया गया है? मैं इस प्रश्न को दोहरा, सही उत्तर है 343। मेरा चौथा प्रश्न है, संविधान निर्माण में कुल कितने सदस्य थे? मैं इस प्रश्न को दोहराती हूँ, संविधान निर्माण में कुल कितने सदस्य थे? माफ करिएगा, सही उत्तर है 229। मेरा पांचवा प्रश्न है, संविधान पर हस्ताक्षर करने वाला पहला व्यक्ति कौन था?
Respected Principal Madam, respected Sudeshna Madam, Pandit Sir, all learned colleagues and my dear students. As you all know that we are celebrating the Constitution Day, which is on 26th of November. For the last few years, we are continuously celebrating this day with true spirit. The basic objective to celebrate this day is that you must know the nuances of our Constitution, how this Constitution is accomplished, how the freedom fighters of our country have laid their lives for the sake of the freedom of this country. And when I say the word freedom, it is not just political freedom. It means before that, before our independence, an alien ruler of the British government ruled over us. So on 15th of August, this political rule has ended. But that doesn't mean that we got a true freedom or the ideals on which our freedom fighters laid their lives. So if you go back and look at the various provisions that the today's Indian Constitution has or incorporated into, they were actually inspired by the ideals, the virtues of those great freedom fighters for which they strive, they struggle all throughout their life. Dear students, you know the Constitution of India is a very bulky. It is one of the bulkiest constitution in the entire world. But at the same time, this is the most flexible constitution in the world. There are many provisions of the Constitution which are as flexible as one can think. So the two most important provisions of the Constitution that we have today is Part 3 and Part 4A that you all must know. Part 3 of the Constitution deal with the fundamental rights, and everyone know about their rights. The fundamental rights. Class 8 student, class 9 student, even class 10. They all know about what are the fundamental rights. The Constitution endowed us with a certain set of fundamental rights. So we know about our fundamental rights. What are the fundamental rights that we have today in our country? On the other hand, we have also fundamental duties, which is incorporated in Part 4A of the Indian Constitution. Fundamental duties are equally important as fundamental rights, because Mahatma Gandhi has once said, until and unless we do not perform our duties, our rights cannot be restored. It means if you do not perform what is expected from you, means what is your duties, your rights cannot be restored. So we, most of the time, we advocating for our rights, but we generally neglect what are the duties that we have as a citizen of this country. So there are total of 11 fundamental duties that we must perform so that our country progress and develop, and these were incorporated by the 42nd Amendment Act. Before that, there was no fundamental duties. Means original Constitution do not have any provision of fundamental duties. It was in 1976 that these provisions were added. So originally it was 10 fundamental duties, and in 2002 by the 86th Amendment Act, a new fundamental duties, that is the right to education, means every parent will strive to send his ward to the school for free and compulsory education, that is RT. You already know, sir, everyone know. So total we today have 11 fundamental duties, and through these duties we as a nation strive to achieve excellence. So the fundamental duties are very much important, and as a citizen of this country you must know and you must aware about what are the fundamental duties that we have. Okay, so next time you must go through the fundamental duties and you must abide by those fundamental duties so that we as a nation can achieve better and better and go towards excellence. Thank you.
गुड मॉर्निंग स्टूडेंट्स। अभी बहुत सारे लोगों ने यहाँ बहुत कुछ आपको संविधान के बारे में बताया। देखते हैं किसने कितना सुना है। फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज़ कब इंट्रोड्यूस की गई? फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज़ हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में कब इंट्रोड्यूस हुई? बाय विच अमेंडमेंट?
किया, और इसलिए हाँ जिसने की एंकरिंग की, इन सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और शुभकामनाएं। ये बच्चे तरक्की करें।